Hello my friends, your favorite Brazilian is back and today we're gonna talk about all the possible, let me see here, all the possible expansions of Riot's MMO. But first I need to make some observations, okay? If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And of course, all of this is pure speculation. We don't have anything granted, we don't have anything said by the devs, we don't have anything actually. I'm just talking what I think it will have in the game, okay? And that's it. We're just talking here, just speculation. All of this said, let's go to the video. Okay guys, so I think the game will not be released with all the content of Valorant, Shurima, and all the other small parts like Ishtal, Ikacha, Shadow Islands, and Sentry Waters. I don't think all of this will be on the release date of the Worlds of Runeterra. Probably this will be the name of the game, okay? I think that on release day, it will be Demacia, Noxus, Freljord, and probably Piltover and Zaun. Why I think of that? Because it's so much more easy and so much feasible to create a single continent, the continent of Valorant, than you create all of the continents in Riot games, like all of continents in Runeterra, in a span of 4 years. Because if you don't remember, Tryndamere said that Riot's MMO will be released in probably 2030. Yeah, my friends, it's so much closer than you think. If everything goes well, actually. Let's say that everything goes well. So this said, I don't think they have the capacity to create all of Runeterra in just 4 years, or probably like 8 years, because they have to redo everything, and reset the progression of the MMO and things like that, So that's my bet. They will release only the continent of Valorant. That's not actually a bad thing because, first of all, the continent of Valorant is really big. We have a central plot happening in Valorant. We have Demacia, we have Noxus, and we have Freljord. Freljord is battling Noxus, Demacia is battling Noxus. Everything is battling Noxus. And we have Piltover and Zal happening down below in the part that connects Valorant and Shurima. So we'll have something interesting happening here. Probably. We'll have some central plot happening between these three factions, and probably it will end in Piltover and Zaun. I think that this is what will happen. And Piltover and Zaun will probably be the connection that comes after the continent of Valorant, that will be Shurima. Not only Shurima, but the parts adjacent to Shurima. Probably Ionia, probably Ishtal, and probably Ikacha. We have some things that are interesting in Shurima because we have Ionia that also is being attacked by Noxus. So we'll have probably some plot here happening, some quest lines and something like that. Ishtal is a part that is like the jungle, like the Brazilian jungle, so it's separated from the rest of the world. So it's probably will be an expansion by itself, I think. I can be wrong, of course, but I think that Ishtar will be expansion by itself. The Shurima Desert will be another expansion, so we have the continent of Shurima, but we have Shurima Desert, but the continent of Shurima, and the continent of Shurima will be probably complete except for Ishtal and probably Ikacha. Why Ikacha? Because Ikacha has some void monsters, and void monsters are probably connected somehow to Ishtal and the Shurima Desert. Why you say that, Altieri? Why you say that? You are being so dumb. No, my friend, listen. Ishtal is separated from the rest of the world, but we see on the lore that Ishtal is being discovered again. Just like the same thing happens in the forest rain in Brazil. We have tractors, we have machines that destroy the trees, and people discover some things. In League of Legends, in Runeterra, it's happening the same thing. So we'll discover Ishtal by accident, kinda. And not only we will discover Ishtal, but the Void will too. So you probably need to defend Ishtal. Again, I'm just saying what I think it will happen. Probably will not happen, but it's not a crime to believe some things. It's not a crime to have hope, to think about this beautiful world called Runeterra, okay? And of course, Ikatia, we have some quest lines there, and of course, we have some quest lines in the Shurima Desert. So, if I'm being safe about provisions, I will say that we have the first continent being Valorant, and the second continent that will be expansion being the continent of Shurima. That will probably have Ionia, probably have Istal, and probably have Ikatia. I don't know if Istal will be a expansion by itself. Probably yes, probably no. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm just a Brazilian guy. Okay, so we need to go to the other expansion. That will be probably Sainting Waters. Yeah, Sainting Waters. And Sainting Waters is really great because we have pirates, we have monsters, and we have ships. Yeah, we have ships. We have everything that is pirate related, everything that is about Corsair related, and something like that. So we'll talk later about what new mechanics every expansion will give to us, but now we're just talking about the expansions itself, okay? If you know the lore of League of Legends, you know that the Sentient Waters are attacked every year by the Shadow Isles. So probably Shadow Isles will be the next expansion. Probably some Halloween expansion, I don't know. And will be so beautiful to fight Hecarim, to fight Elise, to fight. I don't know if Elise is still in the Shadow Isles. I don't know because they retcon everything, you know. So it will be beautiful to fight these monsters, you know. And Shadow Isles have who is the king of the Shadow Isles? Let me search. Who is the king of the Shadow Isle? Oh yeah, it's him, Viego. Yeah, Viego. The Shadow Isles will probably give Riot a hanging point to make another expansion. That is the continent of Camavor. Yeah, the continent that Viego comes from. Yeah, my friends. So we have a lot of expansions, a lot of ideas that can be explored. And to be fair, to be honest with you guys, I only thought about these expansions here, no? So now we're gonna enter the specifics of every expansion I said until now. So in Demacia, Noxus, and Freljord, we have probably a quest line in Demacia about the mages, the mage rebellion, something like that, that is being kind of retconned by the comics and the new trailers, you know. In Freljord, we'll of course have something about the Watchers. Okay, so the Watchers quest line, the Watchers for about the Watchers the Watchers lore basically will be an expansion by itself because they need to make a narrative about it, you know. They need to make something that people some threat that is destroying the humanity, that destroy Runeterra, and we need to defend it from this monstrosity or something like that, you know. So probably Freljord will have some expansion too. I think that Freljord will be a high level place probably because Watchers are really strong and they are being kept dormant by Lissandra. So Lissandra has the power to wake up the Watchers. We don't want this to happen, my friends. We don't want this to happen. So if it happens, we'll have probably a quest line regarding the Watchers and the Iceborns and the Preglacius and, you know, the clans of Freljord and all of this, you know. In Noxus, we'll have probably some quest line about the invasion of Ionia. We'll be preparing the invasion of Ionia, you know. The expansions don't need to be linear, actually. You know, Riot Games can make a really good game because the expansions don't need to be linear. You can create your own story, you know. So this is really nice to think about. Yeah, my friends, let's go! And of course, we have Piltover and Zaun. Piltover and Zal will probably be some place that will connect you with the hex portals, and probably Piltover will be the connection to the Shuriman continent, you know. So we'll start the expansion of the Shuriman continent in Piltover and Zal, of course, you know. So this will be a starting point somehow. Maybe I'm going crazy, but if you look at the map, it's really there. It's literally collect. It's the only point that connects the two continents, you know? Maybe you have something here, I don't know, you know? I don't know. And of course, if you go to Ionia, you have a lot of really beautiful quest lines and really beautiful mobs to kill, my friend. Oh my god. In Shurima, you have, of course, the Shuriman Desert. And probably you will have the presentation of the new faction that you can create your character of, not the faction, because I don't think the game will be based strictly on factions like World of Warcraft is. Like you have the Alliance and the Horde, because it's so dumb to split the player base in two factions like in 2026. What the fuck? Stop being dumb, bro. What the fuck? But I think that you have another great hub to the community, you know, another great hub to, of course, more quest lines and more lore about the Ascendant and something like that. But Shurima will be the starting point to the Mount Targon. Yeah, my friends. You can choose actually. You can choose Mount Targon. You can choose to be to Ionia. You can choose to be to Ishtal, and you can choose to be to Ikatia. But I think the Shurima Desert, the Shurima City, you know, will be uh, a starting point for you to get to the Targon entrance and to try to ascend the Targon Mount, you know, the Targon Mountain. And this, of course, you have probably some Celestials, probably some Dragons, probably some Void monsters trying to attack you. If I'm not wrong, the Watchers are Voidborn, so they are from the Void. Okay, so imagine, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. Correct if I'm wrong, okay? But imagine, I'm not lore expert actually, but imagine you go to Shurima, and then an expansion happens that wake up the void monsters, the Watchers actually, from Freljord and from Ikacha, something like that. Maybe you're trying to go to Ishtal to maybe you are in the quest line to discover Ishtal, you know, and then you kind of wake up the void in Ikacha, you know, the void rift in Ikacha, and now you need to go to the void. Imagine if we need to go to the void, guys, kill some shogatzos or something like that, you know, some cogmouse, you know. Imagine, bro. Oh my god, it will be so beautiful. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that it can happen. It can't, cannot. I think it can happen. You know, it's not so crazy to think about it. But okay, so now we have to go to the Sentient Waters. You discover everything, you know, so you go to the Sentient Waters. What do you find there? Probably some ships to build. Yeah, it will be the expansion of discovering the seas of Runeterra. You create your ship, you create your vessel, and you travel the waters fighting monsters in the waters. You have underwater dungeons, you have underwater everything. Yeah, it will be beautiful. And probably the ending of the Sentient Waters expansion will be you reaching, listen, you're reaching the Shadow Islands. Imagine. So the end of the expansion of Sentient Waters, maybe the opposite actually. Maybe the Shadow Islands attack Sentient Waters because it happens every year actually. It happens time to time, you know. And all the people will reunite and go towards the Shadow Islands. This will be another expansion. To, of course, talk about Viego and talk about all the shadow monsters, you know, Trash. Trash is kind of really OP actually, lore wise, but uh we'll talk about Trash, we'll go talk about Viego, Hecarim, Yorick probably, Lucian, Senna, you know? Imagine fighting side by side with Lucian and Senna, you know? Imagine something like that. It will be so nice, bro. So nice. And probably we'll give some mounts, some new weapons, maybe, I don't know. The expansion will be basically to discover the secrets of the Shadow Islands, you know? And of course, the end of this expansion will be you going to Camavor somehow. But Camavor is so much far away, bro. So much far away. Camavor is you can't go to ship. You can't go with ships. You know. You need what? You need probably hextech portals, or you need to go maybe through the void. I don't know, or maybe through what? Through dragons, flying mounts. You know. So flying mounts, expansion, flying mounts. Of course, I took this from Dragonflight. Yeah, I took this from Dragonflight. Yeah, we all will go to the Camavor continent to discover a new era of World of Runeterra. To discover Camavor, to discover the secrets of Viego. I don't know, something like that. You know. So yeah, we have a lot to discuss. You know, we have a lot to talk about this really beautiful game that please need to come. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I like did some notes here, but I think that's it, you know? Of course, I can make a video talking about what we'll have in Demacia or Noxus or Freljord more detailed, but maybe Targon, Montargon, or Shurima Desert, you know? Uh, but I want to hear your opinion. What expansions you think that the Riot MMO will have? Please comment down below. Please make your opinion is very important, okay? So thanks for watching, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you, my friend. uh and that's it. um Goodbye.